That looks so yummy, and I'm sure it will taste as yummy as it looks. But we should always remember, no matter how sweet the food is, if there is no proper hygiene around it, it is very dangerous to our health. This is where we end the program today. See you again, same time, same station next week. I remain Yetunde Jayola. And always remember, health is wealth. I practice what I preach, so I'll have to go wash up my cup in preparation for the next time I'm going to have my cup of tea. See you again.
Hey, beautiful. Your eyes, your smile are all begging me to take you home tonight. Now reading page 3.
Experience unlimited super-fast internet access from Intel 4G.
Intel. Live more.
Here as a channel of communication is inherently harmless. It becomes harmful and damaging when used without discretion and thoughtfulness. Bad social media users spread rumors and fake news without verification. But good social media users stop, reflect, and verify information before sharing it. Be a good social media user. Stop the spread of fake news. Verify the authenticity of your source and use social media responsibly for a better Nigeria. This message is brought to you by the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, in collaboration with the National Orientation Agency.
Technology, the mother of all inventions, has influenced various aspects of human existence that in numerous difficulties has been brought to the barest level. Travel as a form of communication has been made simple through the invention of the motor car, which can travel 7 miles in a very short time. Due to various irregularities on the roads like potholes, careless driving, overspeeding, and a host of others, the chances of motor cars getting involved in accidents cannot be overlooked. As such, devices like the seatbelt and airbags have been made.
Basically, airbags are meant to serve as security for lives and property in our vehicles.
The motor car airbags are safety devices or features designed to protect passengers and drivers in a head-on collision. The question begging for an answer, therefore, is how many car buyers take time to check the cars for airbags when they are purchasing one?
Like we car dealers now, if you are going to buy a car, we're buying the one that has a airbag because people are going through what is raining.
About an airbag in a car, it's supposed to be a supplementary restraint system. It's supposed to be something that helps to assist during the time of an accident, but it only works well once you have a seatbelt across your chest, or else otherwise it can be a dangerous thing in a car.
Airbags act as a cushion for passengers, thus preventing them from hitting the steering column and dashboard, which may lead to head.
Hello, good evening and welcome to NTA Weekend File. We are live in Abuja. For a while now, abundant rains have been recorded in local and urban areas in southern and northern regions of Nigeria. Despite the shift in rain pattern in the country, the months of August and September have remained the period of ceaseless heavy downpour with increasing volume along waterways, flooding and accompanying incidences of ravaging impact on environment, infrastructure and socio-economic lifestyle of the people. But having taken note of this year's prediction, government is working with relevant stakeholders to mitigate the possible effects of flooding incidences. The National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, had earlier moved to activate emergency response centers across the country some months after the release of 2022 seasonal climate prediction by the Nigerian Meteorological Agency, NIMET. And in the wake of occurrence of the predicted flood preparedness, NEMA's rapid response centers are propelling search and rescue and needs assessment, as the case may be, undertaking a post-flood damage and loss assessment, and will, along the line, organize an after-action review meeting with stakeholders to evaluate the activities carried out with a view to improving future preparation. Weekend File tonight focuses on the real causes, measures to reduce environmental devastation, government and community engagement, and critical partners as we review updates on the 2022 flood. We have a situation report from zones as usual on the show, and our guest is Onimode Abdullahi Bandele, Director, Special Duties, NEMA. I am Kene Ima Aburike. The news now. We're starting with security matters, as the Nigerian Army has described as false allegations that soldiers are proceeding on voluntary retirement due to alleged corruption and poor service conditions. A statement by the spokesperson, Brigadier General Onyema Nwachukwu, notes that the report is a distraction and another failed attempt by mischief makers aimed at dampening the morale of troops on the front line. The statement further notes that the recruitment into the Army is voluntary, with extant policy on discharge and retirement of soldiers and officers like other organizations, and it provides its personnel the opportunity to apply for voluntary discharge when they deem fit and meet the terms and conditions as stipulated in the harmonized terms and conditions of service, noting that it is not an aberration that the Chief of Army Staff granted approval for Warrant Officer Ndangana Ishiako and 242 others to voluntarily discharge from the Army. The statement adds that the Army, under the leadership of Lieutenant General Farouk Yahya, is attending to troops' welfare and injecting equipment into the theaters of operations across the country. Now, the Kwara State Police Command has dissociated itself from a video which has gone viral on social media regarding a protest by some purported policemen over non-payment of 1 year's salary. A statement by the spokesperson of the command, Ajayi Okasumi, said the characters seen in the video are police special constabularies recruited to complement the operation of community policing. He said the concept of community policing and recruitment of special constabularies is voluntary in nature, meaning that they are not on monthly remuneration like the conventional policemen. It added that due to the complaints of the constabularies regarding non-payment of stipends by the state government, the constabularies were invited for a meeting by the state government on ways by which their complaints could be looked into and invited to the government house. The statement noted that it was surprising that the same set of constabularies, after the meeting with agents of state government, could go online with a video claiming that the government was owing them salaries for a year. The Nigeria Immigration Service says it will continue to synergize with other security operatives in securing over 5,000 square kilometers borderlines against infiltration of terrorist elements. The Comptroller General of the service, Issa Idris Jere, stated this during a visit to Jigawa State over the recent attack on his patrol team by bandits at a border town in the state. Awal Mohammed Kazaure reports.
Comptroller General Issa Idris Jere appreciates and salutes the gallantry of late Officer Abdullahi Muhammad, who was killed by bandits while on patrol along Galadime Gatari International Border Town. He restates the commitment of the service in securing the nation's border lines using modern approaches to border security, including deployment of e-border assets to enhance effective security and management.
I am committed to this cause and shall continue to ensure that we take good interests and care in matters that affect our members of our workforce. The current security situation in the country requires the contribution of everyone. We need to close ranks to fix our security situation in Nigeria.
While in Jigawa, the Comptroller General visited some victims of the attack who sustained bullet wounds, and also the palace of the Emir of Dutse, Dr. Nuhu Muhammad Sanusi, to condole him over the loss of the immigration officer from the Emirate in the attack. From Dutse, Awal Muhammad Kazaure, NTA News.
Away from security matters, the federal government will continue to provide all the necessary support to contractors handling roads projects across the country to ensure timely delivery of the project. Minister of State for Works and Housing Umar Ibrahim El Yakub said this during an inspection of Kano Kasena Phase 1 dualization project. Muhammad Ali reports.
Second inspection visit within the span of a week by the State Minister of Works and Housing, Umar Ibrahim El Yakubu, to federal roads in Kano State. The 73.10-kilometer dual carriageway, which starts from the Wano roundabout Kano and terminates at Giremutundaya in Katsina State, has reached appreciable level of completion. The minister commended the speedy work by the contracting firm, urging them to sustain the tempo towards meeting the contractual deadline.
This road had actually been awarded in 2013, about 9 years ago. And of course, tremendous progress has been made under this administration, considering the importance that the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari attaches to infrastructure development in this country. We believe that with the level of our confidence so far, and the dedication of the staff and the contractors, this project is one of the projects to be handed over before the end of this year. The project has been completed.
Mr. Work and Earth, we can together solution our facing challenge, so we can complete this project as soon as possible, and we can provide the good quality and good infrastructure in Kano State.
The project, when completed, is expected to not only guarantee smooth ride, but further fast-track the socio-economic development of the country. Muhammad Ali, NTA News.
It was another joyous moment as Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike and his entourage were accorded a warm welcome for the flag-off of the Omagwa internal roads in Ikwere local government area in Rivers State. Ogedi Nyekwere reports that former governor of Plateau State, Jonah Jang, was the special guest.
One of the ancient communities in the Ikwere local government area and place host to the Port Harcourt International Airport, but the internal roads are in a deplorable state. With the flag off of the roads by the Rivers State government, the people can now heave a sigh of relief. The road will not only ease their mobility but will attract development and boost commerce in the area. Governor Wike noted that Omagwa community have stood by him in all his political struggles and deserves nothing less than development.
This was one of the communities when I started this struggle on becoming the governor from 2014. They gave me a lot of support. And so I told the people of Omagwa, having supported me, having played a crucial role in my election, I will also support you.
Former Governor of Plateau State, Jonah Jang, says Governor Wike has transformed the landscape of Rivers State in the last 7 years, saying it will be difficult for anyone to surpass his achievements.
I want to congratulate the people of Rivers State for choosing a dynamic, hard-working young man who has put all his energy in giving you what people prefer to refer to as dividend of democracy.
The Omagwa internal roads are 12 interconnected roads. It has a length of 10.5 kilometers with 25.95 kilometers of drains. In Omagwa, Ikwere local government area of Rivers State, Ogedinye Ikwere, NTA News.
The pathetic story of moribund industries that abound in Kano is gradually changing as the ancient commercial hub now witnesses proliferation of large-scale agro-allied industries. Awal Salisu reports that the business community in Kano have continued to leverage on the backward reintegration strategy of the federal government that prioritizes agriculture and industrialization.
Pathetic-sized amount of moribund industries that litter many industrial layouts in Kano, reducing the once bubbling industrial hub to a shadow of its past glory. The narratives are, however, fast changing, with ambience of large-scale productions echoing from new and old surviving industries, creating hope once more of an industrially prosperous future. These observers say are glaring evidences of sustainable dividends of the economic reintegration policies of the Buhari administration that prioritizes agriculture and industrialization, setting global standards and providing necessary support for the local manufacturing industries to thrive is part of the essential roles Standard Organization of Nigeria plays towards fast-tracking the industrialization agenda of Nigeria. This inspection visit is to afford the Director General first-hand knowledge of how the industries operate within set-down rules to ensure qualitative products that can fit into global markets.
For a long time, in the whole country, there are only 2 rice mill factories. But now, rice milling, especially in Kano alone, is one of the biggest and fastest growing businesses, which is a good sign that the government policy is working.
He enjoined manufacturers in the region to take advantage of new facilities put in place in the state, which include laboratory and training center to ensure standardization of made in Nigeria goods. In Kano, Awal Salisu, NTA News.
The quest to strengthen the country's human resource for health is gathering momentum. This is sequel to the induction of additional 274 nurses by the Nursing and Midwifery Council of Nigeria. Uche Ugochukwu reports that the induction is the 8th of the ceremony for foreign-trained nurses who have scaled through the professional examination of the council.
Found worthy in learning and in character.
Having undergone training abroad and scaled through the 6-month adaptation program for general nursing in Nigerian universities, these 274 nurses are poised to contribute to the vision of healthcare for all.
So I will use what I learned from where I studied to put it here, inshallah.
Putting my patient first before anything.
Currently, 140,000 registered nurses are practicing in Nigeria, out of the 330,000 on the register.
The Council is committed to its missions of promoting and maintaining excellence in nursing and midwifery education and practice in Nigeria in line with the global best practice. Both councils are continuously in the forefront of providing knowledge, professionalism, and that is one of the requirements for the transformation of the health sector.
The coming on board of these new hands raises hope for improvement in some of the nation's poor health indices, especially maternal and child health.
Now, the chairman, Nigerians and Diaspora Commission, NIDCOM, Abike Dabiri-Erewa, has appealed to Nigerians to avoid irregular migration due to a thematic issue of human rights abuses and trafficking. The NIDCOM boss made the appeal while giving an update on some Nigerians stranded in Dubai. Obiagali Ugwoke completes the report.
Migrants in irregular situation are particularly vulnerable to discrimination, exploitation and abuse. Here, in the United Arab Emirates Detention Center, are Nigerians stranded as a result of migrating through irregular means. The alleged Nigerian embassy officials in Dubai have ignored all their calls. They had earlier appealed to federal government to assist in repatriation back to Nigeria.
Help us, Nigeria. We are in Dubai Immigration Deportation Center. We need help now. We want to go home.
They are being profiled. Some of them have passports. Some of them don't have passports. There are some children that actually have no form of identification. Some don't even remember the names with which they entered the country originally. Then you also have to ensure that you don't have some criminals who have committed a crime in Dubai and want to use the opportunity to run away.
The NIDCOM boss assures that once the profiling process is done, the consulate and embassy will brief the Minister of Foreign Affairs and necessary actions will be taken on the next steps. Obiageli Ugwoke, NTA News.
There is now an established platform where Nigerian electronic media content creators can exhibit their works annually, as against the former tradition of traveling out of the country. The market space, initiated by Electronic Media Content Owners Association of Nigeria, MCON, will also provide window for content creators across the globe to showcase their works. The president of the association, Jibe Ologe, gave the hint at a media conference in Lagos. Diana Ajale reports that the first edition of the exhibition is scheduled to hold this August in Lagos, Nigeria.
From undocumented folklore to cultural heritage, embedded in rich historical experiences, Nigeria's huge potential earned her the title of the Giant of Africa. Despite being the biggest content production hub in Africa, the country is yet to exploit this huge market by coordinating her massive content potential to cater for the ever-growing electronic media and film industry.
It is high time we had a very well-organized electronic media content market to serve as a marketplace.
This informed the coming together of practitioners in the industry under a single platform that will promote indigenous media contents capable of projecting the untold stories with a view of creating a positive brand image for Nigeria.
We need to use content to portray Nigeria in the right light so that people will know that in Nigeria there are good people, there are good environments.
Initiators say the exhibition is the first and biggest media content exhibition for the electronic media and film industry.
It has so many benefits, particularly encouraging those people in the creative environment to do more.
One, what does that do? You're sharing cultures, you're creating harmony, you're creating peace.
Promising lots of opportunities for individual media organizations like the Nigerian Television Authority, apart from the corporate goal it seeks to achieve. Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, is expected to flag off the exhibition with the theme, Content is King Always, on Monday, the 29th of August, 2022. In Lagos, Diana Ajale, NTA News.
National Broadcasting Commission (NBC) has extended the enforcement of revocation order on broadcast stations owing the commission from 24 hours to August 23, 2022. In a statement signed by the Director General Balarabe Shehu Ilela, the extension is due to the appeal by the affected broadcast stations, relevant stakeholders, public-spirited individuals and organizations. Balarabe Shehu Ilela said affected stations who failed to defray their debts on or before August 23, 2022 have been directed to shut down by 12 a.m. on August 24, 2022. The 52 stations are owing the Commission about 2.6 billion naira. Elsewhere, the ongoing 2022 International Arts and Crafts Expo (INAC) in Abuja is repositioning the culture and tourism subsector through job and wealth creation. At the Skills Acquisition and Investment Forum, Nigerians were exposed to several art skills and connections. Oyinaya Kalwaka reports.
The annual International Arts and Crafts Festival was a platform for Nigerians to meet and rub minds with foreigners from more than 30 countries on ways of harnessing the cultural subsector.
So you have so many potentialities in this country, mainly in the area of culture, not only, but mainly in the area of culture, that this is something that we can learn from you.
It was a lively gathering that provided opportunity for 350 women and youths to be trained in different skills.
She taught us how to bead slippers and how to do beaded necklace. I can use this to make money. I can use it to start my own crafts or business.
The investment forum centered on the significance of culture, peace, and national development.
No human society can exist without a viable art and craft culture.
Networking Nigerian craft to the world is one major reason for the expo, according to the Director General, National Council for Arts and Culture, Olusegun Roshewe.
It is an expo that we're using to tell Nigerian story and tell the whole world that Nigeria has what it takes to produce one of the best artifacts, crafts, etc. And this is an opportunity for Nigerian artisans to link up and really work with the international community.
There were side attractions that added color to the annual expo. Oyinaya Kalo Oka, NTA News.
This is Weekend File on the NTA Network Service. We'll go into updates on the 2022 flood after the break.
Is to inform all affected broadcast stations whose licenses were revoked and given 24 hours to pay all outstanding license fees that the National Broadcasting Commission has extended its period which all outstanding debts are to be paid from 24 hours to Wednesday, August 23rd, 2022. All affected broadcast stations who fail to defray their debts on or before August 23rd, 2022 are directed to shut down by 12 a.m. on August 24th, 2022. This extension is due to the appeal by the affected broadcast stations, relevant stakeholders, public-spirited individuals and organizations. Thank you. Balarabe Shehu Ilela, Director General, Announcer.
Nothing should divide us. Nothing can divide us. And absolutely nothing will divide us. In our togetherness lies our strength. Our diverse nature beautifies us. Yes, we may not agree socially, politically, and culturally. Not even our ideological, religious, or ethnic differences should lead to bloodshed. Let us draw a leaf from the painful reality of our recent history and give dialogue and negotiation a chance. Let us support our gallant men and women of the armed forces, symbol of our national unity. One people we are, have been, and always will be. Nigeria is my country. Your country, our country. Let us keep her together in peace and unity.
Nigeria Gulf Federation announces its first Nigeria Gulf Federation Summit. This summit will discuss salient topical issues that relate to the development and upliftment of Gulf in Nigeria. Chairman General IBM Haruna, special guest of honor, Honorable Minister of Sports, Mr. Sunday Dare, convener Otumba Olusegun Rushewe, OON, President Nigeria Gulf Federation, date 31st August to 2nd September 2022. Venue Ladikwali Hall, Sheraton Hotel and Towers, Abuja. Time 10 a.m. prompt. This event event is supported by Polaris Bank, Nigerian Television Authority NTA, Africa Independent Television AIT, Gulf Garden, Anchor Insurance, and Royal Ceramics. Otumba Olusegun Rushewe, OON, President, Nigeria Golf Federation, announcer.
The Nigerian Institute of Public Relations (NIPR), in collaboration with 70 organizations, invites the general public to a 2-day citizen summit for national integration, peace, and security.
Theme: Reopen conversation, rebuild trust. It is a solution-driven initiative towards addressing issues of national cohesion for sustainable development.
Day 1, Tuesday, 23rd August 2022.
Opening ceremony, plenary, and syndicate sessions on key thematic areas to be chaired by Dr. Mrs. Dere Awoshika, Chairman, Access Bank PLC.
Day 2, Wednesday, 24th August 2022, second syndicate and annual general meeting.
Special guest of honor, Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR, President, Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Venue, International Conference Center, Abuja.
Time, 9 a.m. daily.
Host, Alam Mukhtar Siraju, President, NIPR. More information, please call Otuba Shagun Munshiri on 0903 366 6723 or Stanley Ongadigo on 0818 436 8353.
Citizen Summit, Partnership for Nation Building.
Announcer, Dr. Ike Naliaku, Chairman, National Planning Committee.
Music is fuel that fires up our souls. Today, African music has a dominant place on the world map. This massive music movement creating waves across the globe.
I have seen the evolution and the growth of this industry.
But every movement starts with a story. And the best place to start any story is at the very beginning.
It's a harmonious energy that can only have come from Africa.
Hello, madam. Would you like to join us on this mission?
Yes, but how?
Just one question for you. How do you keep your toilet clean?
I use regular detergent and bleach for washing and removing yellow stains. I have been using it for years.
Oh, madam. The regular detergents and bleach are used for washing clothes.
To disinfect your toilet properly, you need Harpic 10X.
It is specially made for germs and stains remover.
Harpic sticker formula settles on stains and gives 10 times better cleaning compared to regular detergent and bleach. Oh.
Welcome back to Weekend File. As rainfall intensifies with reported cases of flood disasters in some parts of the country, some residents living along flood-prone areas in Makurdi, the Benue State capital, are calling on relevant agencies of government to urgently designate residential alternatives and improve on the drainage systems to forestall a repeat of 2012 flood disaster in the state. Moses O'Day visited some flood-prone areas and reports that some residents are adamant on relocating despite warnings from the hydrological agency.
Some part of Makurdi, the Benue State capital, continues to witness flood disaster, which oftentimes renders residents homeless, posing untold hardship to the people. To avoid a reoccurrence of this natural disaster in flood-prone areas across the country, the Nigerian Meteorological Agency (NIMET) and other relevant organizations have continued to avail the public with insight into this year's flood outlook. However, some residents living along flood-prone areas in Makurdi metropolis appears unperturbed as they seek for alternate accommodations from the government. They allege that on a yearly basis, some agents of the government visit to evaluate their situation, yet they were never considered during distribution of relief materials.
So this year, my then they come, our man then they job because we not get place where our husband will go. We will manage and come the area where we will say that this is my house, so I don't have anywhere to go.
Because we know that here is full of water, and that's why government needed to be here and do this road. If they're able to construct this road, you see that the environment will be in need, and the water will just find its level.
I don't already come before I hear, so now I will wait. Now if the things start to come, we'll find our way. How we go do?
What we are experiencing is combination of environmental changes and then the climate change, which is also part of the environment because of the deforestation and urbanization taking place within the River Benue river basin.
Effort to speak with the Executive Secretary, Benue State Emergency Management Agency, SEMA, on the agency's preparations in an event of flood disaster proved abortive as it could not be reached. Despite NIMET predictions and reports of flooding across the country,
The situation here in Benue seems to be different as the water level still remains below 70 meters. From Makurdi, Benue State, Moses Ajaudi, NTA News.
Flood has been a recurring disaster in Jigawa State, northwestern part of the country. Environmentalist assessment, however, put that of this year as so far being the worst hit in recent years, as it has caused the death of more than 50 people. Mohammed Musa Askira has a situation report.
The ugly situation continues to expand the reach of its devastation, with the torrential rains being experienced in this month of August. So far, 11 local government areas have been affected, displacing many who now take refuge at public schools.
You can see my house is flooded. Myself and many other victims are sleeping in schools in the night and back at the school in the morning for pupils to continue their academic exercise.
Factors around climate change, the overflowing of surrounding rivers and human factors are the major causes of yearly flooding in Jigawa State.
Kano River or Hadezi River is a tributary to Lake Chad, and along the way you find some confluences. So sometimes these confluences block, and then we have human actions or inactions. Farmers maybe deliberately block the waterways. Population explosion is another factor. Farming activities, deforestation, pollution.
The state government is now confronted with the problem of mitigating the flood, while at the same time providing immediate succor to the victims. The federal government is responding to the call for relief through the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA.
The government is working tirelessly to see how best it can dredge the river, to expand the river, and to make a dual embankment at the both sides.
Environmentalists are advising holistic approach to the issue of flooding that defied solution over the years in Jigawa State. From Dute, Muhammad Askira, NTA News.
And the flood has ravaged some communities and many farmlands in Ikom and Obubra, local government areas of Cross River State. Correspondent Oba Hyacinth, who visited the affected communities, reports that this development goes to confirm the Nigerian Meteorological Agency and Nigeria Hydrological Services flood prediction, and in this case, calls for NEMA and SEMA attention.
The flood, after a heavy downpour of rain, had destroyed most farms, brought down houses in Ikom town and its adjoining communities, thereby rendering the people homeless. Some victims narrated the level of devastation and called on government intervention agencies, donor organizations, and spiritual Nigerians to come to their aid.
Our house, our cocoa, our cassava, all is inside water. Now, no road again to even go to harvest.
Okay.
We are just like that.
Okay.
Even in our house, as I'm standing here, everywhere now in my house is water all over.
I don't need to, you don't have to empower me. There will be some material to do in my house. My house is very important to me. But even all my farm, I have not to. Just like that. It has been the highest since I think about 20 or 30 years ago. It has not been like this before. You see that my house, my everything is submerged with flood.
In fact, we don't know what we can do, but there is no food for us again. We have no food to eat again.
As at the time of filing this report, the rivers, streams, and canals are still overflowing inbound, hence rendering more havoc. Urban Hyacinth, NTA.
We'll be joined by Onimode Abdullahi Bandele, Director, Special Duties, NEMA. You're welcome to Weekend File.
It's my pleasure being here.
This entire situation of flooding incidences in this country, of course, it has become a yearly ritual. And the issue on the lips of everyone is, does it mean that we can't just find a way out of this situation? Because it is beginning to claim lives, not just in 2022. We can go on and analyze these things without stopping. What is actually the matter? Why are we still in this problem of flooding year in, year round. Now, your colleagues from other agencies, I must say, have been here to speak about this same issue. But you are the one here now. Let's hear from you. What is wrong?
Thank you very much. The flood that occurs year in, year out can be attributed to, one, the refusal of Nigerians to heed warnings. Like you said, early in the year, we had the seasonal climate prediction from NIMET. Following it, we had the annual flood outlook from NISA. These documents were examined by stakeholders that were called by NEMA, communicated to states to disseminate these informations to end users, which are the locals. But unfortunately, this information hardly reach the right people. And even when they get this information, they don't want to heed warning. Oh, I've lived in this community for 30 years. It has never been flooded. Why should government tell me to evacuate? So, part of it is we must ensure that the right information get to the right people. And the right people that are getting this information take action. Let me give you an example in urban areas. When drainages are silted, people want government to come and remove those silts. Silted, that is sands in our gutters. They wait for government to come and clear it, instead of the people living along those streets to take action. You don't wait until the rains before you clear your drainages. It is a common habit too in cities. You see people dropping waste along waterways. They have this balance that water will help us to push it further. If you live upstream and water pushes it, what about the person that is downstream? What happens? It could be raining in your area, you drop those refuse. What about the adjoining street? It might not be raining there, so you have a blockage. And because water must find its way, it spills to the streets, into homes. We now say we have flooding. For the locals, sometimes this flood that come around is because they refuse to live where they are used to. But there are remedies to some of these things. And some of those remedies that we must ensure that the right people get the right information. All of us, when I mean all of us, including you and I, must take action. And we must begin to look at our agencies and organizations that are responsible for enforcing certain laws. The town planning boards, the environmental sanitation board, we must come up with enforcement. Is there enough to say, don't dump refuse there? Penalize the man that is caught dumping refuse. Unfortunately, most of these refuse are dumped in the night when everybody is asleep. What about the town planning person? You must ensure approvals are not given to people who want to build on floodplains. I give you an example. Kogi State, year in year out, we'll go to Lokoja, we'll talk of flooding. Yes, because most of those areas where people are inhabiting today, they were used to be rice farms. So why did they give them approval to build houses? So we must take enforcement as a very serious matter in this country to ensure that individuals, organizations take the right move to ensure that we reduce this flooding issue to BRS minimum.
Now, the enforcement issue, who does that?
There are like for NEMA, we are not an enforcement organization, but you have, like in state, town planning boards are enforcement organization, waste management board. When we were growing up, there used to be this who they call wole wole in Yoruba, that comes to your house to see what are you doing, how do you do it, keep your environment clean. We must take care of our environment if we want the environment to be friendly to us. So those enforcement agencies that are established by government should please not just rest in dishing out policies, but follow it up that those policies are adhered to and implemented to the letter.
We'll talk some more.
Thank you.
We're discussing updates on the 2022 flood in Nigeria. Time for another break on Weekend File.
Last season, forget the winners and the losers. Forget every moment that stole the show, because this is a brand new season on GoTV, and it's going to be bigger and better than any season before it, with over 7 leagues and top competitions, plus a World Cup. Make sure you get the best seats in the house this new football season. Get a decoder, GoTenna, plus 1 month GoTV Max for 6,900 Naira only. Bigger season, greater football. GoTV, love it.
As the 2023 elections draw near, remember, evil prospers when good men and women only wish for peace, but never take a step to make peaceful elections happen. Are you a father? Are you a mother? What are you saying to your children as elections approach? Have you warned them not to let themselves be used to cause violence? Have you explained to them what the consequences of electoral violence might be? Do your part to make peaceful elections happen. Talk to your children. Protect them from unscrupulous politicians who want to put them in harm's way, while their own children are comfortable at home, within and outside the country. Let's join hands to make 2023 elections peaceful. This message is from the National Orientation Agency, NOAA.
Welcome back. Experience indeed is the best teacher, and the lessons learned have injected the cleanliness into Lagosians who have determined to observe safety warnings and measures capable of preventing flooding in the state. Andy Daniels reports that the residents now make it a daily affair to clean up their environments and drains.
Like previous years, Lagos State was never free from perennial flooding, and the effects on lives and property is unimaginable. The good news is that residents of the densely populated city have decided to do away with human activities that give rise to flooding. Fields from the drains are properly bagged, and people are discouraged from dumping refuse into drains.
It still remains some areas that they need to pack the other side in Magoko, so that all our gutters will be free for water to flow normal.
Ibrahim Farinloye is head, Lagos Territorial Office of the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA.
The lawmen are responsible to clear those silt, declared silt area. So if there are areas that are not being cleared, we can call them. Since we mentioned Makoko, definitely we mobilize them to go ahead.
Farinloye says the agency and concerned authorities have put measures in place to ensure that even as the Onyon Dam is expected to be opened to let out excess water, flooding will not be an issue.
We are prepared for as much as 3 weeks rainfall so that we contain it. Fortunately, the nature has provided mitigative aspects. There has not been rainfall. The whole area has dried up. So the ground soil will be able to accumulate some. So the excess one, we are working on it. The state government is clearing canal, while the local governments are so much involved in clearing drainages.
With all hands on deck, observers are sure perennial flooding in Lagos State will be mitigated. In Lagos, Annie Daniel, NTA News.
Since 2012, more than 5 local government areas, including Port Harcourt metropolis, have been experiencing flooding. This flood-prone nature of River State makes it imperative for early and adequate preparations to reduce the effect of flooding, particularly with NIMET predictions of flooding in the country. Robinson Derataide reports.
Flood occasioned by indiscriminate dumping of refuse and drainages, sand filling and building of structures on natural waterways have become a regular occurrence in River State, aside from coastal flooding.
people who are prone to this particular flooded areas will have little or nothing to do, other than the fact that you just hope on God that they survive the entire process. But this is something that needs to be paid serious attention to by government.
If people leave wetlands alone and build in areas where the environment has determined for you, using the concept of environmental determinism, for example, there will be no problem with nature.
Stakeholders say permanent structures on high grounds for flood victims and large dams need to be built, as well as adequate provision for palliatives for victims to reduce the yearly anxiety that comes with flooding.
There are also regulations, building codes. These things need to be properly implemented to forestall the occurrence of flood.
The Rivers State government is presently sensitizing the people against indiscriminate dumping of refuse and keeping the drainages clean ahead of the rains.
We're going to be desilting the drainages, and we're also pleading with residents to ensure, one, they don't build houses on the drainages, and they should also try to evacuate, the drainages in front of their houses.
Observers are convinced that effective collaboration between all tiers of government and private organizations will help to mitigate the effects of flooding in Rivers State. In Port Harcourt, Robinson Darateide, NTA News.
Let's continue with our discussion with Odimode Abdullahi Bandele, Director of Special Duties, NEMA. The incidents is here already. We're just counting the losses at the moment. So what is NEMA practically doing about it in terms of cushioning the effect?
When you talk about what is NEMA doing, I want to start by saying, what have the state done? Because these disasters we're talking about happen in one local government.
Of course, at the state level, we know SEMA.
Yes, should be doing something.
Yes, so what is NEMA doing?
We assist them in assessment, in stakeholder mobilization, and stockpile of relief materials. That's what we're doing. Because if you talk about mitigating flooding, there are structural measures, there are non-structural measures. Non-structural measures include education, public enlightenment, taking action, desilting our drainages. NEMA is not going to live here and go to Port Harcourt to desilt drainages. What we should do, and we have done, is to tell the state government, this is the prediction, this is the flood outlook this year. These are local governments that are likely to be impacted. Please mobilize people. Let them take action. The video I watched just now, the government of Rivers State is coming out to do desiltation. This should have taken place before the rain. Because water will naturally, you cannot determine the quantum of rain that will fall on a particular day. But if we have taken these early actions that NEMA has advised, by now the water will come and flow naturally. So our advice, even while we position ourselves for response, is that people should come out and take early action.
Is it also possible for NEMA, SEMA, and the rest of the allied agencies in this issue to continue to talk to themselves even when they notice that things are not happening elsewhere, to continue to sound it to them to do something?
Very interesting. After the release of the prediction by NIMET and NISA, NEMA invited stakeholders to a technical forum where the disaster management implications of these predictions were brought out. And everybody, every stakeholder, major stakeholders are signatory to these findings. And it was disseminated to the state. And as the situation unfolded, we had another consultative meeting just last month to discuss what is the present situation and what do we need to do. So there's a constant meeting between SEMA, between NEMA and stakeholders. At the federal level, we don't leave, we carry everybody along, from water resources to health, to agriculture, to environment, to the military. We are always talking. So we expect the state, SEMA, to bring out their major stakeholders too, so that everybody will be at the same level of preparedness. So if we do that, it will be a seamless interaction between Nemasema and the populace.
And that doesn't mean that we may not have flooding issues anymore because it is a global issue, but then we would have reduced it to the barest minimum?
If we say we're not going to have flood, we may not be saying the obvious. We have two types. The one you have in the urban centers, which you call flash floods. It comes with torrential rainfall. In another 10-15 minutes, it's gone. But what about the river? River flooding. Nigeria today, the two major rivers do not have their origin from this country. So if you prepare downstream, I call Nigeria downstream because one is coming from Futajalo, the other one is going to pass through Cameroon. The first hit state will be Kebbi from the Niger axis. Then you have Adamata from the Benue axis. If we are prepared here and we do all the needful, what happens if there is excess rainfall in Cameroon and they release the water? It is still coming to us. So if you say you are going to remove flood, I don't want to say yes, but we can reduce the impact of flood on our populace to the barest minimum if we take action. That is the idea.
I want to thank you.
Thank you very much.
Immensely for speaking here on this very, very important issue. Thanks and good luck to Nema.
Thank you very much. It's our pleasure.
We'll be talking with Onimode Abdullahi Bandele, Director of Special Duties, NEMA, and of course we've been chatting on updates on the 2022 flood in Nigeria. Time for our last break on Weekend File. Do stay.
The construction of a 1.6-kilometer long second Niger bridge, including a 10.3-kilometer highway furnished with other infrastructure, has been in motion by the federal government. This project will ease congestion on the existing 56-year-old Onitsha bridge and boost the economic capacity of the state as it easily connects to other parts of the country. The completion of the world-class second Niger bridge, Onitsha, will be one of the many proud moments of the state, its people, Nigerians, and foreign investors. Onitsha, which hosts the largest market in Africa, is geared up to boast of an impressive road network. Once again, these moments are made alive by the federal government, and it is deserving of all the applause.
Let's now tell you that Kaduna State Police Command has dislodged kidnappers at Galadimawa Forest in Giwa local government area. The incident led to the arrest of a suspected bandit, Yusuf Monore, with 2 rifles and 5 rounds of live ammunition, 3 handsets, and a torchlight. Police personnel acting on credible intelligence had a fierce encounter with the bandits and subdued them, while others escaped with gunshot wounds. A statement by the Command Public Relations Officer, DSP Mohammed Jalige, quoted the State Police Commissioner Yekini Ayoku as commending the officers for carrying out a successful operation. Up next, a sports update with Olubide Eguntola.
The Falconets of Nigeria will on Sunday take on their counterpart from Netherlands in the third quarter-final match of the ongoing Under-20 Female World Cup in Costa Rica. Spain later tonight takes on Mexico, among other matches. In the English Premier League, result of matches played Saturday indicate that Fulham pipped Brentford 3-2, as Leicester City fell 1-2 at home in the presence of Southampton. Crystal Palace humbled Aston Villa 3-1. In the meantime, as part of efforts to popularize sport surfing in Nigeria and bring glory to the country at the international scene, the Nigeria Surfing Federation is harnessing potential future stars through its various activities. This explains this training, where professional and amateur surfers are learning the basics of the sport.
When you are depressed, kick your board, get to the sea, catch waves, you can easily forget your sorrow.
We're aiming and we're training to strive to represent Nigeria as a country at the Olympics.
In another development, the Nigerian Modern Pentathlon Federation is collaborating with the National Institute for Sport as part of efforts to grow the sport while building capacity of its athletes. The addition of Director of the Institute, Professor Lawale Moronkola, to the pool of the patrons is part of efforts to spread its tentacles.
Sport funding is not what only the federal government can do. And our marketing committee
commission will be inaugurated very soon.
Also to look at the activities. What capacity building can we give?
In boxing, the die is cast as Nigerian-British boxer Anthony Joshua is set to battle Alexander Usyk in Saudi Arabia in a critical rematch later tonight in an attempt to regain his lost heavyweight belts. The sports update, Olumide Kuntola, NTA News.
The NTA regrets to announce the death of the general manager of NTA Sports 24 Abuja, Henry Ekpo, and assistant director of news. Aged 51, Henry Effium passed away on Friday, August 19, 2020 in Abuja after a brief illness. 2022, I beg your pardon. Prior to his posting to Abuja, Henry had served as Assistant Director News at the NTA Network Center in Makudi and was the pioneer producer of NTA's leading sports talk show, The Sports Parliament. His burial arrangements will be announced by the family later. Let's now check out the weather for Sunday.
Rainfall activities are expected across the country come Sunday morning as cloudy conditions are anticipated from northwestern region down to the coastal belt of the country. However, there are possibilities of isolated thunderstorm to part of Borno, Yobe, Adamawa, southern Taraba with rains over Cross River in the morning. Further into the day, we expect the bulk of weather activities to affect the northern region, the high grounds of the central state, particularly in Benue, Nasarawa, Plateau, and Federal Capital Territory, to include the southeast inland and coastal belt of Edo, Delta, Bayelsa, Rivers, Cross Rivers, with slim prospects over Lagos State in the late afternoon evening period. I remain Suleiman Gurin. Up next is temperature forecast across some selected cities, and thank you for watching.
We'd like to thank you for watching Weekend File tonight on the NTA, but don't forget to contribute your quota to the fight against rape and rapists as pioneered by the NTA. I am Kene Ima Aborike. Good night.